But why am I mentioning these historic examples of some old people we may never have heard of? Why worry about what has happened centuries or even decades before? Because it's still happening. That's why we should think about it. We should contemplate it. We tend to be so distracted by our toys, our devices, that we often forget what's most important. The disparity of human values and rights continues throughout the planet. Because we as people on this small planet must do all we can to encourage and support basic respect and understanding among all people of all persuasions. This includes the sexes. This is the simple core of humanism. This is in part the revolution I am suggesting, the revolt against fear and darkness wherever we may find it. It begins by reaching out and being helpful. It begins by connecting with our families and friends, and extends to the neighbors, many whom we've never met before, but we will meet in our travels. It means we may have to give up that inflated sense of self-importance to see our neighbors as equals in all shapes, sizes, and colors. This was a great lesson for a young Carlos Castaneda encountering his mentor, Don Juan Matos, in his search for knowledge as a young PhD candidate at UCLA in researching shamanism. His unexpected discovery involved his foregoing self-importance and to acting with all impeccability at every chore. It wasn't easy then, and today it's still less easy to accept the lessons and values of our humanity and to maintain them while being mesmerized by these very fantastic machines. Castaneda discovered his true spirit in Mexico, shown boldly by a simple Yaqui native teacher. He slowly became less self-important and more impeccable. And for us, we are certainly not finished here today. We will be going off for more schooling. Our education will continue. Some of us may formally enroll in academic programs. Some of us will enroll in life programs. Ultimately, we all will arrive at a better place. But whatever the role, the chore, the job, the task, let us be impeccable at it. Our very best. Let's make this a habit. Do it faithfully, do it well, and we will be true, conscious humanists, remarkable citizens of the planet, and well-rounded ones, no less. I might suggest that we deliberately leave behind our gadgets for a little while. We might pile them up in a mock burning of the toys, and I suggest a pretend burning, otherwise more toxic fumes will then ensue, and we certainly don't need that. So symbolically, let's light a match in the name of humanism. And speaking of toxic waste, I've got a great idea, at least I think so, what to do with those soon-to-be discarded NASA space shuttles. How about this? We gather all the toxic waste, the spent fuel rods, and we store them in those space shuttles, and we blast them off into space. Our target can be Pluto. We've dethroned that planet, no longer useful in our solar system here. So let's do that. Get rid of that toxic waste. Let's try to restore our earth and fields and return to them in our own way. I do observe with regret that the wonder and ease of our toys have taken us far from Earth, from ourselves, and from each other. We have forsaken the most basic tenet of humanism in our habitual dependency of technology. We've nearly lost a sense of social contact with each other. We've gone far astray to prefer texting over basic conversation. We've been seduced by the great inventions designed to make our lives quicker but less involved. A challenge for us is to look at this, a return to the woods, and turning again toward nature, toward human nature no less. I would like to encourage us to act boldly. I'm going to suggest a retro act of sorts, an old exercise. Let's find a piece of paper and a marking device, a crayon, a pen, a pencil, and here's the idea. Let's write a letter to each other, to a comrade here at Chester. You'll need an envelope, and you'll also need a stamp before they no longer exist. Write that letter and share some thoughts, even feelings about today. You can all remark about this weird guy up here, this dinosaur. trying to urge you to slow down and resist your gadgets. And next, let's go out to the fields by locating an old-fashioned mailbox and drop that now sealed letter into it. And then what happens? This is the best part. It's called waiting. Because it's going to be a few days before that letter is received and responded to. A few more days for our friend to write back to us. Now, how's that for a revolution? But I can tell you it will be a great experience, and maybe for some of us, a completely new experience. Just for the record, I love letters. I keep pretty much all of them. My favorites are pinned to my darkroom walls, along with my old running numbers. My wife, Julie, will tell you I throw away or recycle very little. However, I have no problem recycling old tax returns. I keep the letters and I turn some into collages and I piece fragments into my own journals. But this is a truly rebellious idea, letter writing. We might really grow fond of it. It's absolutely a way of reconnecting and regaining that social contact I mentioned earlier. There's a Christian ritual which I once practiced long ago, and I attended a ceremony very recently where I was again requested to make the same gesture of a handshake, or even if you prefer it, a kiss to the cheek. I was told to offer a sign of peace to the people around me. I did this and it made me feel real good. We need not enter a church or any such place in order to seek or receive such a greeting. We need only to engage each other. Consider the laborious handwritten method, which I dare say will never die or become completely obsolete. We should think about rekindling our humanism through basic social contact and communication. We might resort, to any range of methods for social interaction based upon respect and understanding. Let us regard ourselves as significant and now learned members of a larger community. Let us all contribute to the planet in our own unique and impeccable ways. Let us regard this charge as a simple and basic responsibility. Oh yes, before I forget, I'd like to offer some words of advice, not from me, but from Mary Schmick, a Chicago-based journalist and the unintended ghost author of, again, Kurt Vonnegut. It's simply this: wear sunscreen. Do it, wear it. The higher the SPF, the better. Sunscreen will enhance our humanity and will live longer, wiser, and healthier. Definitely wear sunscreen. I'd like to depart as I began before with a simple short poem from another poet who I met briefly in Honolulu and later in New York. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's by Galway Kinnell. It's called After Making Love We Hear Footsteps. For I can snore like a bullhorn, or play loud music, or sit up talking with any reasonably sober Irishman, and Fergus will only sink deeper into his dreamless sleep, which goes by all in one flash. But let there be that heavy breathing, or a stifled come cry, anywhere in the house, and he will wrench himself awake and make for it on the run, as now we lie together after making love, quiet, touching along the length of our bodies, familiar touch of the long married, and he appears in his baseball pajamas. It happens. The neck opening so small, he has to screw them on, which one day may make him wonder about the mental capacity of baseball players. And he flops down between us and hugs us and snuggles himself to sleep, his face gleaming with satisfaction at being this very child. In the half-darkness, we look at each other and smile and touch arms across his little, startling muscled body, this one whom habit of memory propels to the ground of his making, sleeper only the mortal sounds can sing awake. This blessing love gives again into our arms. Graduates, I wish you every success in seeking your well-roundedness through impeccable activities. Go with pride of your own humanity and lose the self-importance along the way. You'll do fine, but do remember the sunscreen. Good luck. I honor you today. Thank you.